Remember when Crash got taped?
The late 2000s were weird for Crash and Spyro. At this point, Sony and the original devs were long gone from the equation. The two IPs were still under Vivendi Games / Sierra Entertainment, and the games themselves were pretty, nothing really stood out at the time. Of course, some of them still have their cult followings nowadays, like A Hero's Tale and Twinsanity, but at the time, nothing was really sticking financially. The only thing left to do was a full-on reboot for both Crash and Spyro. We've already covered the Spyro reboot on this channel twice, with one more to go. God help us. But we haven't really touched on the Bandicoots reboot. Did they go the same dark and edgy route that Spyro went down? Well, no, actually. In fact, they emphasized more on Crash's kid-friendly appeal. This new reboot of Crash sports the Bandicoot up with some sick tribal tats out of the late 2000s and a haha funny name like Crash of the Titans. I gotta say though, I really don't hate this design. I think it's different and looks kinda cool on him. I wouldn't be upset if we still had this design today. This game was developed by Radical Entertainment, best known for the game series Prototype, which came out after the Crash reboot, and even better known as one of the studios that suffered Activision's support team curse, leaving the identity of the studio in limbo. Thanks, guys! I gotta tell you, it was weird seeing this out of Crash almost 13 years ago. And that sounds even weirder when I say it out loud. Has it really been 13 years? Okay, so 2007 rolls around and the game releases on almost every console under the sun. Now we're 13 years into the future, so how well has it aged? See, I haven't played this game since I was a kid, so I really don't remember a lot of it. I remember having fun as a kid, so maybe by default I won't like it as an adult. I'll be covering the Xbox 360 version of the game since it's the hardest version to find, and I've only ever played it on the PS2/PSP, so this'll be fun. I also want to go ahead and say that I'm not going to be constantly complaining that it's not like the original Crash. I understand that it's a reboot and things change, so I'm going into this with an open mind. This is the same way I covered the Spyro reboot. Alright, so story kind of doesn't matter. It's Crash. When has it ever mattered? Crash, Coco, and Crunch, sporting a Mr. T voice,
Mika sucker!
are all just chillin' when all of a sudden Cortex, which leads to kidnapping, which leads to the first level. And I gotta tell you, from the first cutscene alone, I can already tell that this whole game is gonna have Saturday morning cartoon writing.
Crash! Help me get this gizmo working! At long last, the world will have a way to recycle butter! Hey, that was a good one!
So, first level in, and I gotta say, Crash feels really good to control. Like, dare I say, it reminds me of how people react to controlling Mario and Mario 64. Crash has very tight movements, snappy mid-air controls, good reaction times. I really like moving around and platforming. This is also accompanied by linear level design akin to Crash's origins, but there's more to do here. The levels visually look pretty good, but good lord, I can tell the 360 port was a rush job. From what I remember reading, the Wii version of the game was the base, and then Radical literally just upgraded the graphics for the 360 and downgraded for PS2. For 360, this motion blur is god-awful. I can't really make out Crash half the time. It also doesn't help keep a stable frame rate, often making the game jitter more than it needs. Also, JPEG trees. Crash starts off with a 1-2 punch attack, which is kinda slow and lame, but you do gradually get new moves and abilities as the game progresses. Throughout the game, instead of Wumpa Fruit, you'll be collecting magical mojo. Mojo can be found everywhere, breaking objects in the level or by beating enemies. You're rewarded handsomely for doing either of those things, so it feels really good to collect it all. The more you collect, the more you unlocked, which I think is a really nice progression system. It's like if you continuously collected gems in Spyro, but every now and then you'll collect enough to learn a new skill. Crash himself has a double jump, light attack and strong attack, a mid-air twirl that slows your descent, and more as you play. But the main gameplay mechanic, as you can see from the box art, is controlling these big monsters. See, Cortex has been experimenting with the Mojo's property to mutate animals into more henchmen, just stronger henchmen. And these guys are intimidating. Once you knock them around a few times, you're given the option to, jack them, as the game calls it. I'd rather not jack the enemy in my Crash Bandicoot video game, but we can't all get what we want, so let's keep jacking. Once you take control, you're given access to all of their moves, which are usually great for crowd control. Every monster has a light attack, strong attack, and a special attack shown by this purple meter. I gotta say, controlling these guys is pretty fun. I like being able to just cause utter chaos as the bad guys, but there's a major flaw with this mechanic. it's extremely easy to abuse. See, once you take over an enemy, your health goes away and is replaced by the enemy's health. So once they die, you pop off and go back to Crash. The problem is that you can just keep swapping over from one enemy to the next with no repercussions. So if you're about to die, just knock out another enemy and swap over. I became so reliant on this ability that every time I took even a single hit, I just swapped over to the next monster because why wouldn't I easily take full health? This slowed the game down by a lot, but I was given no choice because the game doesn't know what iframes are. This is easily one of the most frustrating parts of the game. The reason I became so reliant on swapping left and right is because you can so easily get stun locked into every enemy attack. For those of you who don't know, iframe stands for invincibility frames. It's when Mario blinks after getting hit. This gives you a window of time to run away and get somewhere safe. It's supposed to avoid situations like this. See, every single clip that I just played was me getting hit after already getting hit by someone else like 40 different times. I wasn't given an opportunity to get out of the situation and try again. See, at the beginning of the game, I was asked to choose a difficulty. I thought it was weird because I've never had to choose a difficulty in a Crash game, but welcome the change. So I set it to hard, thinking it wouldn't be that hard because, it's just a Crash game. The game mainly just spawns more enemies at once. If I knew about the lack of iframes, I would have set that shit to easy in a heartbeat because this is ridiculous. The game borderline became unplayable for me because I kept getting locked into so many attacks. At one point, I actually had to call my fiance in to help out in co-op mode, and we still struggled to hell and back. Although we did have a lot of fun. The co-op mode in this game just spawns another Crash. It's similar to the drop-in, drop-out style of co-op from the Lego Star Wars games. I thought it was interesting that in the settings, you can actually change the style of co-op, which is something I've never seen before. We both noticed that every single time we would jump while the other player was in the backpack, the game would swap our positions when we landed. Turns out we had the piggyback co-op mode enabled. I don't really understand having that mode, but I really appreciate them putting it in to try something different. I can easily see a lot of friends and siblings having fun with this mode. While yes, the co-op mode is a lot of fun, it's not perfect. It 100% was put in here last minute because good God, the game doesn't like us being apart. I think the only other thing I really didn't like that much was the repetition. See, the game tries to keep things interesting with every other location having unique minions and monsters, which I appreciate. All the monsters have different attacks and are good for certain things, but it just felt like the same thing over and over and over again. But I really didn't mind it that much. I only ever dreaded it whenever I continuously died from the lack of iframes, which, by the way, got so bad that I had to give up on the second to last boss. It got so bullshit with how many enemies they were throwing at me, I just didn't think it was worth my time to pursue anymore. The last thing though, the very last thing. Crash of the Titans, without a doubt, has some of the most bizarre written dialogue I've ever heard come from a children's game.
Crash! Get out of my robot! This is my body and my right to choose!
You did it, Crash! Thanks, big brother!
Oh, gross. Get a room. How long have you had that in your pants? Betraying me is the most vile, evil thing you could have ever done! You were a skank! I'm still going to spank you stupid for this.
Oh.
So what should you do? Shelve it or trash it? Well, weird incest dialogue aside, I actually really don't think Crash of the Titans is as bad as people say it is. I had fun playing the game minus the iframes and the hard difficulty. Crash controls really nicely and the monsters are a lot of fun to control too. I just don't really see myself coming back to the game anytime soon, but I still recommend you guys at least try it, mainly with a friend. So with that said, Crash of the Titans gets bottom shelf.
Once again, massive thank you to my channel members Pal Polarized and Goonjita. Your continued support really does help out the channel. If you'd like to help out the channel, consider becoming a member or join the channel's official Discord server. With all that said, I'll see you all in the next one.